What's going on, everyone? I'm Ottengroff, and today on the Untrained Ear, we are going to be looking at Instant Holograms on Metal Field by Stereolab. So Instant Holograms on Metal Film is the 11th studio album for the band Stereolab. This album is in the avant pop genre, and it employs something called motoric beats. For those of you who are not familiar with what this means, this is basically music that's employed in the 4/4 beat rhythmic style, where basically most, if not all, tracks are organized in a manner that is 4/4 rhythm and timing. This album is absolutely brimming with lush instrumentation and lyricism that's clearly charged with depth and social commentary in one moment, while in the next is completely fixated on obscure vagaries of spirituality and interdimensionality. It is truly trippy in the lyrical department. This piece is not obsessed with tracks needing to end when the lyrics drop off. In fact, for many of them, they tend to linger on minutes past when the vocal accompaniment drops off, with some of the tracks even being not even halfway complete when the vocals end. The main focus of this album is truly contradicting the nature between what you are hearing sonically and what the lyricism is trying to convey to you. So it's an album that you really need to pay attention to the words, because they really recontextualize what you are actually hearing on many of the tracks. Melody is a Wound is a track that's definitely worth celebrating on this album. The operational foreground is, of course, set up within a motoric beat. And the first section of the song really establishes the ground rules for the track. You have a pattern set that is established with guitar, synth progression, and keyboard chords, though there are other couple groove moments for demonstration of the divergent paths that the track is going to be taking down the line. These are normally exemplified with guitar riffs, though there are some keyboard progressions as well. The girth of the track, however, does actually come at the hand of a 4-minute instrumental segment that comes after the lyrics kind of give way at the end. This begins with an awesome jazzy segment that allows the instrumentation to really begin to flex and riff out. And you get little solos from the different instrumental pieces that have been accompanying throughout the track. And then you move from that into an awesome electronic segment where the synth gets to flex and production shines a little bit. And then it introduces a tempo change, and you get an instrumental resurgence as there's a dynamic adjustment. And this happens at the last segment before the track closes out. And the cool thing is, behind all of this, especially in the beginning of the track, you get this immensely seditious narrative about truth suppression and brainwashing and manipulation. It is truly a wild track that I think really showcases the duplicitous nature of a lot of the songs on this album. So definitely one that is worth highlighting and exploring. Immortal Hands is also a piece I think that's worth mentioning, in so far as that I think it took kind of the most beautiful instruments and really turns them sinister on the track. You get to explore this through its use of the piano, the harp, and the acoustic guitar. The lyrics are really fixated on what's described as an ego skyscraper standing in the distance for everybody to kind of look at and bear witness to. It's described as vulgar and nihilistic, and then as the track progresses, you get the sonic shift and this super lush mix, and there's a mood shift. It's very upbeat. You're introduced to like funky electronic elements, and then horns and woodwinds are intertwined, and it's just a very cool mix that I think tonally is also just very interesting on the album. So Colored Television was another track that I thought is really worth mentioning and exploring. It opens with synth coming in with this kind of ambient, like alien tone, You have bass, which is providing this like smooth jazz vibe over the track, and then you have electric guitar doing these little like reggae riffs, and then instrumentally and vocally, you get this little like almost picnic in the park kind of vibe from the the mix. And then as the lyrics come to a close on this track, the instrumentation persists, which thematically is kind of common for this piece. And you get these little vocal forays from Letitia Sajay as the track sort of evolves into a soft rock piece. And for a moment at the end, it's almost signifying like some sort of growth or development sonically, which is hinted at lyrically as well, as the bars are kind of coming to a close. And I think this track really does a great job emphasizing the duplicitous nature behind so many of the pieces on this album, where sonically you have this like smooth jazz, soft rock piece that is a take on the stagnation of human progress, that's supposed to be like really easy on the ears and soothing, and it's supposed to like calm you down and almost sedate you in a way. And the more you pay attention, the more it's kind of like off-putting in this very like thought-provoking and fascinating way. And I think it's a great commentary on like this whole album and the whole vibe that you're getting from this piece. So just a really cool track. As far as criticism for this album goes, I think that it could have benefited from exploring more of the like orchestral instrumentation elements. The tracks that implemented it, I felt were like extremely powerful, and the ones that didn't were still good, but they were missing that extra zest that I think the tracks that had it really just had. I especially loved when they were implementing horns and woodwind elements. I think the few tracks that implemented those were just so memorable and so fascinating to me. Overall, though, this album was a very fun piece and a very creative take on duplicitous writing and organization of tracks. And I certainly had a great time exploring it. I think it was well put together and well orchestrated. So, in terms of a baseless rating, I think this one is going to get an extraterrestrial 8.